The number of cases of coronavirus continues to rise in this country, and there has been another big jump in Ontario. In that province, 22 cases announced today bring the total in the province to 101. BC is reporting another 9 people with coronavirus, bringing the number in that province to 72, with 1 presumptive case as well. Alberta has 6 new cases, bringing the provincial total to 29. Quebec has 24 cases. Manitoba has 4. There are 2 cases that were presumptive in Saskatchewan, which have now been confirmed. New Brunswick now has 1 confirmed and 1 presumptive case. Prince Edward Island has announced its first confirmed case of the virus. And remember, there are also 4 repatriated Canadians with coronavirus under quarantine right now in Trenton, Ontario. All of them were passengers on the Grand Princess cruise ship. And as the number of COVID-19 cases is rising, health officials are also reminding everyone to stay calm, even if they do get the virus themselves. Now, according to data released by Johns Hopkins University, the majority of people who have become sick have already recovered. Only a small fraction of those who get COVID-19 die from this disease, and most of those who die already had pre-existing health conditions. Ottawa is sending a warning to Canadians abroad. Our Steve Niles has more on that part of the story. So, Steve, we're right in the middle of March break for much of the country. What is the government saying about travel?
Actually, they're saying don't go, and if you have gone, get back as soon as possible. This is a change in tone from what we've heard from the federal government up until now. They were saying, and as you said earlier, Natasha, avoiding all non-essential travel. What they've added today in a tweet from Foreign Minister François-Philippe Champagne is that anybody who is currently abroad, get back as soon as you can. The language here, we recommend that Canadian travelers return to Canada via commercial means while they remain available. And it's that while they remain available that's quite important here, because they're flagging that commercial options may not exist for people to get back home. And there's a couple different reasons why this might be the case. For example, we just heard from Southwest Airlines, just one for example, that they're saying they might cut back on flights because fewer people are traveling these days. People are staying home, so they're going to, for business reasons, cut back on flights. So airlines might make the choice to stop flying. They don't want to lose money flying empty planes. That's part of it. Another issue as well that we're seeing is that certain countries are putting travel bans in place. Canadian press spoke to a woman who's in Poland right now who attended her mother's funeral. She's now flagging that Poland, as of tomorrow, is instituting an international travel ban. So there's no flights out of Poland. Complicating this as well is that if there are lots of people who are coming back on March break, the flights might already be full, and you might not be able to connect through the United States because, Natasha, of the travel ban that country put in place for the European Union countries. So a very complicated situation. So they're saying while you can, certainly don't go, but while you can, get back.
And Steve, over the course of the day, I know you've been watching a number of updates that have been coming through from provincial officials, health officials. We're still waiting on a few over the course of the evening. What's the latest?
Natasha, it seems like we've heard from every province in the country, waiting on Newfoundland, also waiting to hear from Alberta coming up very shortly. We heard from Manitoba earlier today. They're confirming more cases, saying that they were all related to travel, which reiterates the point as to why they don't want people traveling. This is interesting, though. Manitoba will be closing their schools, but not for another week. So over the next few days, when kids are going back to school, they're saying, let's do a couple things. So if you're sick, stay home. Let's not have large group activities. This one's interesting. Increase the desk distance between students, so a little bit of social isolation within the classroom. And they're saying, when possible, let's move our classes online. That's what they're going to do for schools. They also had something interesting to say about employers. Have a listen.
Employers have a role to play as well. They should review their business continuity plans and take steps to ensure employees can stay home when ill without facing excessive burdens, such as requirements of sick notes. That's a burden on the individual, but it's also a burden on our healthcare institutions, which are overburdened right now.
Couple more quick points. Province of Quebec said if you're 70 or older, don't even leave the house. PEI saying if you traveled out of the country on March 8th or any later, you should self-quarantine. Ontario asking people to operate with normal grocery buying procedures. Natasha?
Okay, thank you, Steve.
You're welcome.